Mothers are the most important social class in society after the sovereign and aristocracy. I'll explain later. Health, justice and education are important to all sections of society, from the noblest lord to the humblest peasant. These are the responsibility of the professions: doctors, lawyers and teachers. Farmers who grow our food, military officers who defend us from our enemies, and senior civil servants who organise the day-to-day administration of the state can also be seen as members of the professions. The important point to remember is that those engaged in the professions deal directly with people rather than with goods and chattels, and can directly affect their welfare without any effect on themselves. For example, when teachers fail to teach children to read, as has often been the case since the Cultural Revolution, children are handicapped, but the teacher is unaffected. While teachers, lawyers, and the other professionals deal with people who are ostensibly in good health, doctors deal with people who are ill. Doctors are therefore the most important professional group. Below the professions come the businessmen, who deal with the distribution of food and the manufacture and trading of goods and chattels. Below the businessmen come a group I call professional ancillary workers: nurses, junior school teachers, social workers and policemen. They too deal directly with people, but it is doctors, teachers and lawyers who are ultimately responsible. Alongside them are the craftsmen who make all the artifacts of civilization, from machine tools to monumental masonry. Below these groups are the great mass of people, the white, blue and grubby collared workers, clerks, fitters, labourers and such like. It is this group that enjoys the greatest freedom. They work 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, or a few shifts on and a few days off, and are then free to put their minds to whatever they please. This is in direct contrast to a doctor, for example, who, when he's not seeing patients, is often preoccupied by the difficult problems they have presented to him. But at the bottom of the social hierarchy are those who, for one reason or another, are unable to shoulder any occupational responsibility. Perhaps they are handicapped, perhaps psychologically scarred as children by maternal neglect or other circumstances beyond their control. Many are highly intelligent, but lack education and therefore seem stupid. But totally overlooked is the fact that housewives and mothers are, or should be, the ultimate professionals. Their kindness, dedication and generosity is vital for the well-being of everyone. Maternal warmth is the ultimate sedative in all societies, but the status of mothers is determined by the status of the man they marry. Consequently, good mothers can carry professional values into all corners of society. This is not a fact of life that is widely recognized in modern society. Far from being equal, women are the superior gender. They put their lives on the line each time they get pregnant. Men rarely do so. While most parents seek to discipline their children, it is in fact children who discipline their mothers, demanding attention 24 hours a day. Motherhood can be an exasperating and tiring experience. At times, a child will infuriate and disappoint its mother, perhaps reducing her to tears of frustration and despair. At others, it will delight her and be a joy to behold. There is an agony and ecstasy to raising children. One can talk of the martyrdom of motherhood. Accepting that martyrdom and surviving it to produce healthy offspring is the ultimate reward. The sense of fulfillment of mature mothers makes them the most lovable, respected, and valuable members of the community. But women have a covert assistant in their management of motherhood that is denied to men. Physically, the difference between the genders is obvious, but there are important biochemical differences. Chief of these are the female hormones. A few days prior to menstruation, the estrogen level falls. Many women complain of feeling depressed, anxious, and irritable at this time. But anxiety, depression, and irritability are typical of mild opiate withdrawal. I experienced them myself during the experiments described in Puff of Smoke. I also found that opiate intoxication produced a feeling of well-being that could be described as feeling like being cradled in a mother's arms. It is this effect of estrogens that must lie at the root of maternal warmth and that emanates from all good mothers. The more a woman relaxes into her estrogens and takes the vicissitudes of motherhood in her stride, the greater the degree of maternal warmth she will radiate. The more lovable she will therefore be, but, most importantly, the greater the sense of security she will give her children. They will then be better able to relax into enlightening their innate ignorance at school and have confidence to explore the wider world. But there is a wider dimension to this characteristic. In episode 10 of Puff of Smoke, I mentioned the contact high that can be produced by drugs. It is thus likely that the contact high of reassuring maternal warmth promotes bonding between a mother and her husband and children and makes mothers such addictively lovable creatures. Mature maternal warmth not only fills the house, it spills out into the street and the community, filling it too with a sense of security and well-being. Maternal warmth is essential for the well-being of everyone. Sadly, in the Cultural Revolution, women were encouraged to defy their hormones and see themselves as equal to men rather than complementary. They have since sought to compete rather than accompany. For 40 years, society has been starved of maternal warmth. Sadly, the disastrous consequences are beyond the ability of any doctor to repair. This must therefore be the last of my videos.